Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video that I got from a family friend. And in this video, it's a young lady or a middle-aged lady that I went to school with. I went to school in Nigeria, which is a country located in West Africa. She was a schoolmate, someone that I went to school with. And some of the sentiment that she shares, I share her sentiment in this video, some of the things that she talks about. So without wasting more time, we're going to dive into this reaction to this video. It's a pretty wild video, so just be careful who's around you. Be careful with the kids watching because the video is pretty aggressive, or I want to say violent, so be warned. So here we go. It's a wild one. It's my first time doing one of these reaction videos. Let's see how this goes. So her name is Olachi Holman. I guess you could find her on Instagram. I don't have an Instagram, but once I find it, I'm going to leave it in the description of this YouTube video for anybody interested in her opinion. I believe she's a lawyer. So if you're interested in her opinion or her take on things, you could go find her there. I'll tell you more about my relationship with her as we go into the videos. Here we go.
See, I was taking a little mental health break from Instagram, but then somebody sent me a video about my alma mater, Igbinedion Secondary School in Benin City in Nigeria. And I just had to hop on here because when I was saying it, it almost seemed like I was making things up. When I was trying to tell you people the conditions of that school, it might have seemed like I was exaggerating.
Okay. So I guess she spoke to people about this school. I guess she has a platform where she talks about the conditions of the high school we went to and the things that were wrong with it. And she has shared it with people in the past, but people were refuting her claims. That's all I have to say to this. It's not even up to 23 seconds into the video, and I'm really worried about what she's gonna say because this is the same school I went to. But let's see what she ends up narrating about. Let's go on the video.
So I'm grateful for social media. I'm grateful for videos so that you can all see what I was talking about. Now, you see that video of the student beating the other student? I'm going to show it here. Trigger warning. It is.
You said trigger warning. I've seen the video.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
It's some things in this video that is a daily happening in Africa. It's been normalized. It doesn't make it right. It's just something that goes on. When you go to high school, you go to any boarding school, things like these are expected. Sometimes you could find yourself
in danger.
So that's just the reality. You can find yourself in danger. Some wild things happen. And as you're going to see in this video, it's nothing new to me. It's not, these things happen from time to time. We just learn to live with it. That was the situation back then. So as you can see, to give context to what's going on in the video, this is a senior student basically assaulting, beating, because we got to call it what it is, punishing a junior student, I believe. Or if it's not the case, I know the person doing the beating is a male student because he has the white shirt and the navy blue pants. That's what we had then. That was our uniform. We had the white shirt with the tie and navy blue pants and a black leather shoe with some holes in it. Based on what I'm seeing here, it seems like the senior student or the superior to the student on the floor has their belt and they're whooping the person on the floor. That's what's going on. They're exhibiting some acts of aggression.
Those of us that went to...
As you can see right there, right before the video switched up, the student kicked the student as well. So this is a pretty aggressive video. It's nothing good, but we're going to continue. Let's hear her take.
School, no, that video is not that bad.
It's not lying. That video right there is not that bad. That video is... This is nothing compared to some of the things that I saw going to that school. To be honest with you, for most of the times, if you're a junior student,
I'm in danger.
that was your existence. You usually were in danger most of the time. Things were going on that you just could not explain, and there was nobody to help you out. Your parents were far away, and sometimes your parents were not even in the country. It was the school that our parents paid a lot of money for us to go to make life convenient for them so we could optimize our learning, and at the same time, they could get their freedom to go do what they have to do to provide for the family. So
it is what it is. It is what it is.
That's just the life of African parents just trying to get their stuff together. Most of them just used it to just buy time so that they could go do what they have to do for their families. That's what happened. While they were doing what they were doing, they left us in this school. We were basically burned. Our lives were on fire. I know that I could have accomplished way more if I had the freedom of movement and just the freedom to exist that normal people require. But that was not the situation in this school. Most of the time you were under punishment punishment or all kinds of stuff is happening to you from your superiors because they just had that power. Sometimes when people have absolute power, it corrupts absolutely. That was the case here sometimes.
And the thing is, I know a lot of times in the Nigerian community, we want a perfect prophet. We want a perfect advocate. We want somebody that's blameless.
What she's saying is that sometimes the people to do the advocating, they don't have to be perfect. And in the Nigerian community, we always want a perfect person to come and be the Messiah. And that's not always the case.
Possible. We're all human beings. So those of us that went to that school really need to push and advocate against things like this. Even if you know you participated in stuff like this, I promise you it is fine to speak out against it because we are adults now. The truth of the matter is that when you put children in that kind of situation, I need you to think about Lord of the Flies. They will all continue to do it if that is the norm. Children's brains are not set.
So what she's talking about here is that there's this thing about being in an environment. You start to take on the behavior of the people that are around you. So what usually happens was that we were the victims of this type of behavior from our superiors, the senior students, the people that were classes ahead of us. And in most cases, when people experience this abuse, instead of stopping it when it gets to their turn, they suffer something called the Nigerian effect. So when it gets to their turn, they take on that character of a monster. The thing that they always hated, they ended up becoming it. So that's what she's trying to explain here.
Up in a way where they know how to even regulate and stop doing stupid rubbish like this when it is normalized. You see, the people that are responsible are the people that are in charge because where were the adults? Where were the teachers? Where were the adults? And
to answer her question, the adults were right there because we had the housemasters, we had some teachers lecturers or teachers that lived in the dorms. But these teachers, they were limited because they were dealing with testosterone, they were dealing with men. And on the women's side, they were dealing with estrogen, they were dealing with other women too that were growing up, women that were younger, more powerful, in some cases, less likely to listen, uncooperative on both sides, both on the male side and female side. So that was just the reality.
So the questions that we asked when we were students at Igbinedion Secondary School, where were the adults? I mean, I recall boys slapping girls. I recall boys taking off belts and flogging girls.
So this part that she's talking about here was also a reality. It was just something that happened more often than not, where guys were using this opportunity to exercise the authority. Guys were coming into young adolescent men, they were coming into manhood, and hormones were raging. Guys needed to exercise the authority. I'm not saying that it was right what they were doing, but this was just biological. This is what happens in nature. When men start becoming powerful, start picking on this new chemical that's flowing through their veins, testosterone, they have to take out the aggression on something. In most cases, the people around them are victims of this aggression. It doesn't make you right. It's not something that I experienced it in multiple occasions. I saw guys that put their hands on women. I saw guys that did all kinds of stuff, but it doesn't make it right. It's just how those people chose to carry out their own form of aggression. We all had our aggressions in us. We just took it out in different ways. As young men growing up, just trying to figure out what to do with all this new power that we have, physical power, that aggression, manly aggression.
In open spaces in the middle of the day. And honestly, where were the adults?
She asked that question again, where were the adults? The adults were right there. It's just that this was Africa and there's a culture of cronyism, favoritism, and all that kind of stuff. So the adults were right there, but the adults were already butted up with the people exhibiting the aggression. These students were kids from rich families. In most cases, they knew that doing what they were doing, nothing was going to happen to them. And even if anything was to happen to them, they were okay with the consequences. So the adults were right there. That's the answer to that question.
Been brought to my attention that the school made a statement. Here it goes.
So in response to that video that she was showing, she was saying that the school ended up putting up a statement trying to address exactly what happened during the whole shenanigan. So the school came back and tried to address the whole situation. They wrote a long letter trying to tell people or bring the issue to the forefront and just address it. We're going to see what the school said on this occasion here.
To show you their level of incompetence.
Pardon the video. It's a little bit blurry. This was the best quality of video that I could get on the stuff. I never bothered to go to her page to extract the video. I just used the video that was sent to me. So the quality is a little bit poor. Please pardon that. So let's hear her. Let's go ahead and continue.
See, one of the names on the list at the bottom is not even alive.
So over here, she's explaining the gross incompetence that existed in this school. So on the document that they used to bring this situation to the forefront or to address it, on the bottom, one of the employees of the school that was still listed on the document has already passed away. They still had him on the documents that they were using. I guess they were just too incompetent or too lazy or just wanted to save money instead of printing something more updated to show that this individual no longer is with us here on earth and doesn't work in the school anymore. But such was
It is what it is. It is what it is.
such was the reality back then.
I understand Mr. Akinkowo is not even alive anymore. Yet, his name is on that document as principal of senior school.
Wow. So his name is still on the document. So that's what she's trying to explain. The level of incompetency was so broad that even a dead someone that has already passed on was still existing on the current documents used by the school.
So when I'm telling you, that is just to buttress my point that the people in charge, when I attended Igbinedion Secondary School, aren't.
So she's basically trying to shed light on the fact that the problem is from the top. When the head is bad, the body is bad. She's trying to shed light on the incompetence at this point.
Robbers broke into girls' hostel.
So now she goes on to tell a story about what happened back when we were in school, or she was in school. I don't know if this happened when I was there, but she goes on to narrate a story about what happened back then. Some of you that watch this video are probably people that went to this school as well. So this was just reality. So you could relate to what she's talking about. So let's go.
And a girl that ran to call the matron was shot at.
So she's saying that back when she was in school, armed robbers came into the dorms and someone went to call the matron. So in the boys' hostel or the men's hostel or the young men's hostel, they had the housemasters. And then on the girls' hostel, they had the matrons. Matrons was just the female version of the housemasters. So they lived in the dorms to keep an eye on the ladies and to facilitate things and make life easy for them. So one of the girls went to call her, and the armed robbers that broke into the dorms, the female dorms, shot at the student. Well,
I'm in danger.
let's keep going.
By these armed robbers. And I need for you to know that Igbinedion Education Centre in Benin City, Nigeria, did not notify our parents.
She basically just shed light on something that is very factual. There was a lot of things that happened in that school that if our parents knew about it, they would not feel comfortable having most of us in that school. One of the situations I remember was one time I remember this guy very well because his brother-in-law actually lives right here in Chicago and I service his Maserati. So he changes sports cars and stuff like that, and it falls in line with the business that I do. I maintain his cars. This guy was playing lawn tennis at the lawn tennis court in the school. Yes, we had lawn tennis court. We actually had 2 courts. And while they were playing lawn tennis, a snake showed up. And then the guy had to kill the snake. Very big snake. Think about it. On that situation, it could have been a poisonous snake. It could have bit a student. It could have gone unnoticed and it could have harmed somebody. But these were some of the things that our parents did not know. And it was never told to our parents. Did some people tell their parents? Probably, because people were going and people were coming. Some people were coming from United States to the school. Some people were leaving the school back to the United States. Some people were leaving the school to a lesser school. And some people were leaving the school for a better school. Some people, their parents wanted them closer just to keep an eye on them and just to be able to protect them. So this was just the reality. Let's keep going.
In fact, my classmates and friend's older sister started telling parents who were trying to drop their children off the next day, please don't bring your children to this school.
So she's talking about like coming back to school day. So when we were coming back to school, there was days where people would drop off their children. That day is just when the school resumes. So people bring back their schools because when you bring back your kid and you drop them off, it's a boarding school, so they get to stay. So she was talking about a friend of hers was telling the parents like, hey, don't bring your children here because of the event, the situation, the incident that just happened where the girl got shot at when she was running to call the matron. So let's keep going. Let's hear what else she has to say. So she was just shedding light on that this person was trying to snitch, basically, was trying to break a code because they were trying to keep this from the parents. So this person was trying to tell the parents, hey, look what's going on. We're not safe here. Don't drop off your kid. And let's see what happens.
Armed robbers came here last night and they won't let us call our parents. I want you to know that the principal, or maybe she was head of center at that time, God rest her soul, slapped that young lady, called her a prostitute.
In Africa in general, it's a common language used to call women prostitutes. Just because someone calls someone a prostitute doesn't mean that person is a prostitute. Just an insult. It's a common insult. But in this situation here, she was talking about a lady that I believe ran the senior secondary school. I believe she's talking about, she was very feared. She was a very revered woman. Whenever she was coming through, I believe Miss Omo Saige, and she was not talking about Miss Omo Saige, she was talking about, it was a white lady that was the head of center, Mrs. Granny Hines, but I don't see Miss Hines slapping anybody. So I would say it's Miss Omo Saige. So let's keep going. So she's saying that Miss Omo Saige slapped the girl for snitching. So let's keep going. So these are some of the things that happen in Africa. It's crazy. I know. And trust me, our parents pay a lot of money for us to go to these schools. But hey, this is things that happens, like no institution is perfect. This was a pretty good school. I had a good time. I'm not gonna lie. But some of the things, some bad things happened to me in this school. Yeah, I had a little bit of PTSD and it took me a while to get over. But yeah, I mean, I found a way to make lemonade out of lemons back then. I found a way to make lemonade from lemons. So here we go.
And told her that if the robbers had tried to assault her, and they did, that it was her fault because she was a prostitute.
The lady that was in charge of the senior secondary, either Miss Granny Hines or Miss Almost I can't remember what she's talking about, blamed the victim of assault by armed robbers that came into the dorm. You can't even make this stuff up. This is just crazy. This is crazy. What sound effect can I use for that? Who are you? Why do you slap the victim? You see? So that was the situation. She was just narrating how the person that was abused got slapped. This was just a common occurrence. This happens. Like when people see themselves as your seniors, they tend to have so much dominion over you. So they feel.
You want to know what Igbinedion did after that? They locked us in the dorm.
So after she snitched, what they did was that because it was the day that parents were bringing back their kids to school, so because of the snitching that was going on, instead of the school to let the students that were staying in the dorm out, they locked them behind the gate so that they could not come out and narrate to the parents that were dropping off their children what had just transpired. So that's what she's talking about. So after the victim was slapped and all, the school ganged up on the students, locked the students that could possibly relay the information to unknowing parents that were bringing back their kids in oblivion to a danger zone.
I'm in danger.
Handing those kids over to people. All I is trying to say, they don't have the best interests of their children at heart. So let's keep going. Let's hear more.
So that we couldn't come out and tell other parents not to drop their kids off. And so that we couldn't ask people to call our parents to tell them that we had been robbed and shot at.
Yeah, that's pretty gruesome. Like I said, they know that if they opened that gate and let the girls out, the girls were going to relay the information to parents because there's already snitching going on. People were trying to tell parents, hey, listen, this is what happened. This was an incident that occurred recently where a girl was shot at when she was trying to go get a matron because armed robbers broke into the dorms. And this was just stupid stuff. Usually petty armed robbers. I don't even know why they would come to a high school, but sometimes there's insider information because there were some bad boys that went to that school, real bad boys. So they could have insider information that, oh man, this is the day that everybody's coming back to school. There might be students with a lot of money and property and provisions and stuff like that. So they were trying to come rob people of that. That's something that was a reality.
The night before. My dear, these are just a few of many stories that I can tell you.
She's not lying. There's so many stories, like so many stories. It's Africa. These things be happening and you learn to live with it. It's just nature of the landscape. And I'm not making an excuse for this gross incompetence. It's just that when you try to fix it, somehow the land opens up and swallows you. Most people that try to fix these problems never make it out alive. I mean, look at Kwame Nkrumah, look at Patrice Lumumba. It would be your own people that would actually get rid of you. So
about that school. Children attempted suicide to get out of that school before they now decided that joining.
Whoa.
I'm in danger.
I did not know about people attempting suicide. Of course, I did not know every information in the school. That might be a possibility because I don't know what everybody was going through. I know some people were having a hard time. Some seniors or the guys that were in a higher class than others, some of them just enjoyed being bad human beings. They enjoyed taking turns or taking out their time to just see other people suffer. So this could have been a reality. So I can imagine being the person on the other end getting the brunt of the suffering. That would make a kid that has not been psychologically developed to just understand how to deal with this experience. Just knowing that someone is so aggressive towards you and showing you so much suffering that you're not used to in the comfort of your parents' home. And now you've been entrusted to this school by your parents, and now someone is making life a living hell for you. So I can't even imagine just being so young, having that mindset. I myself, I did not know how I lived through it, but I did. I just figured out how to compartmentalize it. I think I just saw it as part of the passage of being a man or becoming a man. You just get used to these things happening to you and you learn how to go around it. As a matter of fact, you see it as part of the process. These things toughen you up. So you start to see it as military boot camp. Like, this is the process. This is part of it, but there's nothing natural about this. It did not make us better academically. It did not help us. As a matter of fact, it hindered most of us academically because most of the time you're busy running errands for some superior or someone that was in a higher class than you because they were in 12th grade and you were in 9th grade, or they were in SS3, you were in SS1, and you have to wash their shirts and wash their pants and do so much for them and iron for them, and they just ran you ragged. A lot of us experienced this. I tried my best not to do this to any junior student, but there was one occasion where there was a junior student. He was just very, very annoying. He just would not fall in line. When I was dining hall prefect, I had to slap the living daylight out of him. I got suspended for that. My mom hid it from my dad, but now my dad is going to see this YouTube video and he's going to find out. But that was the reality. I didn't slap him because I just wanted people to slap. I just wanted to keep people in line. And this kid was just being annoying. And I didn't enjoy taking advantage of anybody because I knew what it was when people took advantage of me. So I never enjoyed sending my shirt and my pants for somebody to wash because they didn't do a good job. I always loved to do stuff myself because I knew I would do it better. So that was my mindset. I always had a different mindset from back then. I was a hustler too. I made money in school. So I saw school as a money place and a knowledge place. I didn't see school like how most people saw it. Let's keep going.
Ranks and beating people up and joining this bad behavior was the only way to survive. I personally jumped off a building and tried to kill myself in the year 2000 to get out of that school.
Whoa, slow down, Ola. What's going on? What is going on? I didn't hear about that. I didn't know she tried to kill herself. I wasn't close to her on anything, but I was friends with the guy she was dating back in school. And I didn't know that happened. I mean, if that happened to you, whew, I'm sorry that happened to you. I mean, what do you say to someone when they have such an experience?
Okay.
You can't say much because we must have thought about it and came to a conclusion that living is not even worth it anymore. I'm not gonna underplay this. Some people they derive joy from making other people suffer back in that school. I'm talking about children of narcissistic parents having the opportunity themselves to be narcissistic. They were bad, and I'm just not using that word lightly. Not the way they use it here in the United States, not the way they use it anywhere in the world currently, not the way feminists use it. I mean, sadists. They looked at this stuff as fun. These were sadists. They were just dark-hearted people. The more you reeled of pain, the more they enjoyed inflicting it on you. And that was just another Monday morning.
And I have a friend and a classmate who tried to hang himself from a ceiling fan.
Oh, I don't even know what to say to that. That's just crazy. Like, someone tried to hang themselves. Stories might have circulated. I'm not sure of a situation where that happened for a fact. I can't remember vividly someone trying to hang themselves because that would be a very tough task to accomplish. But there's a possibility that happened. I'm not doubting her or anything. She probably has information on that I do. So that's just what I'm saying.
3 times to escape life.
So this person tried to hang themselves 3 times. They must have been going through it. Like I said, I'm not debunking what she's saying, but it's a possibility. I just never heard about it.
Igbinedion. Many children picked up drug habits. Many children picked up violent behavior.
Yeah, so the drug habit thing was real. I just stayed off that. I remember during a holiday, I went to go see some guys that were my senior. And when I went to see them, in one of the guys in the back of his house, they were smoking paraphernalia and then they were trying to get me to get involved. And I was like, no, I'm cool on that because coming from where I came from, I drank alcohol at a very young age. I smoked at a very young age, and I realized real quickly these were not things I was attracted to. So I never smoked in my life. I never drank, not excessively. It was never a habit that I liked. If I did it socially. Even if I got drunk, it was just because I was having a party and I was young. As soon as I started getting older and getting my stuff together, I never enjoyed drinking. I have alcohol here, but it's usually for guests. And I have alcohol in my place, strictly for guests. I don't drink, never enjoyed it, not my thing. Smoking, not my thing either. I have hookah, I have all that. It's all for entertainment. So that was real. People picked up drug habits. People smoked weed. They thought it was going to make them cool, going to make them be accepted. Some people just became violent because they saw their classmates or their fellow superiors or their seniors, the same people at the top of the class or top of the food chain, the SS3 students. They saw their fellow SS3 students inflict pain on others. They just thought it was the thing to do. So they just followed suit. They just did it. It was just the thing you do when you get to the highest level. You take advantage of everybody at the bottom. And you see it today in Nigeria. The people, the leaders of the country take advantage of the poor. They don't give them no mercy. There's no room for any more. It's just them at the top, them and their cronies, and you can see how these things start. So when the head is bad, the rest of the body is bad. So that's what we're seeing.
Which they still have not been able to recover from. Last year,
so she's saying that some people are so traumatized they never recover from it. I remember there's this one guy that showed me such a tough time. I always said to myself, if I ever found him, man, I'll make him suffer. But after a while, I got over it. I didn't think it was necessary because I saw some of these people, they're already suffering already. I'm just blessed to have a decent life. So I'm appreciative I'm still alive. I never was the kind of person that went through anything that inhibited my growth. I think some people might have lost their life in that school. If I can remember, I don't remember specifically, but I think a student or two lost their life while I was there. So that never happened to me. So I'm just grateful that was my case. So I understand where she's coming from. Let's keep going.
In July of 2025, I went to Mexico and cremated my brother and brought his ashes home.
Her brother, based on what she's saying, the trauma that he experienced from this school led to him picking up a bad habit, which was drug use. At a later stage of his life, it ended up costing him his life. May he rest well. I had some interaction with the brother. Actually, before the brother left to Mexico, the brother visited me here in Chicago. He picked up a teaching job here. He was living in one of the hostels. I had talked to him, and he was one of the people that I learned from him that everything is not for everybody. Because when he came here and he told me his ideas and things that he wanted to do, I tried to calm him down and I told him, hey, why don't you just stay here and just get involved in my business? I could make you a wholesale dealer. You could buy cars and sell to other dealers. You could just make some money, some good money. What I picked up from him was that it wasn't something he was interested in, so I didn't push it any further. He had a direction he wanted to go with his life, and I was no way about to get in his way. At this age, most people are stuck in their ways, and there's nothing you say to them that they will listen to. And I wasn't about to change his mind. This was a man in his middle age, so changing his mind was something I could not do.
He lived his life with the drug problem that he picked up in Igbinedion that he was never able to shake.
For this part, I would say that this cannot be wholly blamed on Igbinedion. This cannot be blamed on the school all by itself. His drug use in his formative years, because there were other people that did the same thing as him, and most of them turned out fine. So I don't know if there was other things that was going on in his life, because anybody that we went to school with would tell you that something was off about David. I can't put my finger on it, but something was off about him. Some of these violent behaviors that people pick up was because it was something that trickled down. So the people at the top inflicted pain on everybody at the bottom. As the people at the bottom got to the top, they promised themselves that once they make it to the top, they would make sure that everybody else at the bottom felt their pain. Call it a ton-by-ton Nigerian limited kind of thing. So once one person gets into power, they get to oppress everybody. And then when they get out of power, the next people again get to oppress everybody. So that was just oppression Olympics, I guess. That's what you could call it. It wasn't anything different than that. Everybody suffered just about the same. But in her case, I feel for her. She lost her brother, and some of the things that she believed he lost his life to could be traced back to habits that he picked up while in this school, which was true, because I believe their story was that they were kids in the United States and they were brought back to Nigeria by their mom, and decided to put them in this school because she probably was told it was one of the best schools in the country and she could afford it, so she set them in there. I believe she's a daughter and the brother is a son of an African-American man and a Nigerian Igbo woman. I believe that's their story. I grew familiarity. David came to Chicago once in a blue moon. He came to visit. He stopped by my place. We hung out a few times. I even have pictures of him driving with him. I remember when I had a convertible here in Chicago, we would go hang out, just drive around town and stuff like that. He had a ball. At that point, I made it a thing to show anybody I went to high school with, whenever they come into town, I try to show them a good time, take them around. We just had fun. Because when we were in high school, as she's trying to explain, it was not all fun and games. You had to ascend to that superior position before life could get better. So most of us, we spent most of our days just dreaming and hoping to get to that top, to get to the SS3, to get to that GSS3, wherever, so we can have that position of power. And some of us, when they got to that position of power, oppressed other people. And if you look at it, if you dissect it, that tells a true story about the current situation in the country Nigeria. So guys, that's the end of the video. If you like the reaction and you want me to do more of these reactions, leave a comment in the comment section, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this video to other people that went to Igbinedion Education Centre or people that just might get use or value out of this reaction video. It's my first reaction that I'm doing here on YouTube. I hope to do more of these. I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I thought I would even butt head with her at some point, but there was nothing she said that I disagreed with. I agree with most of the stuff. Her reality was my reality. These were things that we lived through. It was just that you learned to start to cozy up to some people so that your life could be easier. You aligned yourself with some people. You just started to become a human being in a political arena. You learned to build alliances and move wisely. And sometimes you have to even hide yourself and learn how to avoid people. You start lying by omission and doing all this kind of stuff. So this was our reality. This was some of the things that we experienced. In some ways, going to that school made me better. In some ways, going to that school made me stronger. For sure, in a way. The businessman that I am today, I got some of the traits from that school. Just hustling, selling Indomie packs, selling ready-made rice with stew, just hustling, just doing all kinds of businesses, trying to understand money. This school helped me understand money. So as bad as it sounds, some of the bad traits and characteristics that this school could be associated with, there were good things about the school as well. We had very beautiful uniforms. We were structured and pushed to dress well. If you came to the school and you picked the right mentor or someone to mold yourself after and be a role model, you would have an amazing time. I learned how to dress well in this school. I learned how to listen to good music. I learned how to dance. I learned how to talk to women. I learned how to have conversations. I met people that I'm still friends with today in this school. This school gave me access to power, real power, people that were in the know-how, the movers and shakers in the country. This school was a place where you went to and you met people that you would not meet on a very good day. People that in the country Nigeria, you might not even cross paths with them because in the social hierarchy of the country, their family was way at the top of the food chain. So being able to go to the school afforded you to rub shoulders with these people, get to know them, and sometimes even get you to take for granted their presence. You know what I mean? So that was the reality. Anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.